Rappin with ReefBum is sponsored by Polo Reef, Champion Lighting and Supply, and ReefnBid.
What do you guys hear most often in terms of people's excuse for maybe not leaning on a local fish store or buying from you guys, corals? Maybe let's exclude dry goods at this point in time. But is the online marketplace still a major threat to your business, or do you think there is a tide, so to speak, that has turned a little bit?
You know, the collectors are the collectors. If I'm a collector, I'm in a bunch of different hobbies, not just reefing, but if I'm a collector and I want something, I'm going to go through every source to find that. And if, that's just part of it. And it's totally cool if customers are collectors and they're hunting for something to find it. Purple monster, for example, it's not an easy acro to find these days. You're going to go hunting for that thing. That's I don't see anything like that as a threat, because collectors they're collectors. But for the bread and butter people, the newer hobbyists, those guys, they come in, you treat them right, you help them set up a tank properly, they're usually loyal to you. And if they're not, it's still all good. When I was a hobbyist, this was a treasure hunt. I had fun going to other places and checking out what was available. It was all part of the hobby. But for the most part, if you have a good inventory and good supply and healthy stuff, and I really pride myself on having established pieces. It's not just a piece that's been there for like 3-4 weeks. I have healthy established pieces that are proven. They're not going to have bacterial issues, they're not going to have bugs or pests, they're just going to be healthy pieces. And usually people, maybe not when they're brand new, but eventually they recognize that, and then they're going to come to you for that kind of stuff. So it's really important to keep your stuff healthy, conditioned, and pest free.
Yeah, and to your point, Keith, is that I do think that it has come back to local fish stores to a certain degree, because I think there's a lot, there's so many vendors out there. There's some really good ones and there's some really poor ones. And so I hear probably every weekend that people go and they buy something online and then they get it and it doesn't look like the picture. It's not, it's not as big as it looked like in the picture or whatever. And so I think a lot of people do like to come in, as long as you have a good enough selection of what they're looking for, then they'll come in and they appreciate seeing it in person, see how healthy it is. And so I think it has come back a little bit to local fish stores, as long as they're providing what the customer is looking for.
Yeah, and back to what Ollie said is I get a lot of beginners in here, like even people doing research online, they're going to end up coming to a LFS at some point to either make a tank purchase, do that stuff after they've maybe done a little bit of research on the internet. And then they come in and they're telling you this stuff that they learned, and you're like, throw all that stuff out the window, and you're just kind of explaining them the right way how to do things. Sometimes people come in and they have stuff from other stores, and they're like, all right, they sold me this and that. And I'm like, you don't need any of that stuff. And I just lead people in the right direction. Like Ollie said, man, get them set up from the get-go the right way with a healthy tank from the start, and let them see your displays, let them see all your corals, and so they could kind of have an understanding of what their tank could potentially look like. And if you're not BSing them and not trying to upsell stuff that they don't need, they're going to trust you, and then they're going to come back and you've got a long-term relationship.
But it's really a funny business, because how many customers come in here and go, I want that, ring me up, and they're out the door. Zero. They all have 7 to 12 questions.
Questions.
on everything. It could be pumps, it could be corals, whatever it is. And so there's a huge time commitment on our part, to take care of them. But that's why you go to the local fish store, is that you get those questions answered. A lot of people, buy a new tank and then want to get an RO system. And I'm like, just wait a little bit, because you're going to want to come in and buy water, because you're going to have your list of 10 questions. And let's answer them out, and let's get them, get you on the right path. And then get, when you don't need us as much anymore, then you get your RO.
That consultation, man, that consultation is so important. And every time they come in, it's a consultation. It's a consultation. They're asking many questions, and you're spending so much time with them to teach them the right way. You would feel horrible if you don't tell them something, and you don't want to ever withhold the information from them. But at the same time, it takes a lot of time to sit there and invest in each customer. So that's one thing. A lot of people, sometimes it just goes over their heads. They're at the shop and they don't even realize, you're. But a lot of customers do. A lot of customers really, really appreciate it. But a lot of other people just, they don't realize the type of information you're giving them is not something they're just going to find super easily online. And that's a big part of a benefit for a customer, is coming into a fish store that knows what they're doing with, look at the fish store's tanks. If they have beautiful, healthy tanks, listen to what they're saying. They're really going to be trying to help you out.
Dong, I know that you don't have a local fish store per se, but
yeah, we do. You mean me?
You're not a local fish store per se, right? I mean, you're no.
Not exactly, but
Not
I
exactly.
do have people. Yeah, not exactly, but
you mentor a lot of people, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that come in
every day. People coming in with tons of questions. So because I don't sell fish, so that's not a fish store.
I'm sure some of you guys have seen my store, but my front lobby, I have a big ass couch with a little coffee table, and I sit down and it's still just me here. So when I am helping somebody, like Cris said, man, the time commitment, sometimes, I'm with somebody for a while, and people will sit on the couch and take their time, and they will just listen in on everything I'm talking about, because they're absorbing information while they're waiting.
I've had the couch since 2007 for that reason. Yeah. One, for the husbands or wives to sit down while the spouse shops, and two, they when it's busy, they're just lounging, taking in information, or just chilling, or just relaxing in a cool environment.
Looking at displays, sitting on the couch. It's like,